it ruined my life, man. It ruined my relationship. It ruined my life. And it fucked me up for a long time. And, it really hurt my relationship. It was probably the number one thing, which has sent me into like a massive depression. I was done with content.
I'ma give it all I got, like grinding every day. Ain't no other way.
Embrace the Grind with Joey Ingram in Las Vegas, Nevada. Take one of only one. Let's get it.
That's it. We're here. We're live. Brand new Poker Live podcast.
No,
Big Poppy, Joe Ingram, 1AK Chicago. Joey here, joining me live, Las Vegas. We got Johnny Vibes in his new place here.
No, come on, man. You're ruining it. I got to take this. Is my job right here. Welcome to Embrace the Grind. We have a special guest, Joey Ingram, a man who needs no introduction to the poker world. But just in case you're coming from somewhere outside of the poker world, we're going to give you an introduction. Not like you can.
I don't even know how I would introduce myself anymore. So I'm curious what you got here.
The thing is, it's really tough to bring the energy that you bring to these things, but I'm going to do my best. A man from Chicago who goes by many names, but he's affectionately known as Chicago Joey, a.k.a. Joe Ingram 1, a.k.a. Guinness Book of World Record holder for playing the most number of tables, a.k.a. #1 podcaster in the poker space, a man that has played poker, has dubbed PLO the great game of pot limit Omaha. Mm-hmm. He's been dabbling in the 2-card streets and the tournament streets, 2-card PLO streets. A man who has who's ascended to the stratosphere of the poker community through his content and through his commentary on various topics. Joey Ingram, thank you for being on Embrace the Grind.
Bam, I'm here. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that very much. It's been a long time in poker. I'm wearing sunglasses right now. I don't really know why, but
no, I feel like it's appropriate right now.
I feel like I'm in my time of my life right now. I'm in a sunglasses mood right now, man. It's all over the place. So yeah, Poppy, I appreciate you inviting me, man. It's real nice to see you do your show, man. You do real obviously high quality vlog work in the past, and it's nice to see you start to expand it a little bit, get into this sort of space. And you've had you had your family on here, you got close friends on here, and you're probably going to get a bunch of people on here. So it's awesome, man. It's good to see you. Glad you had the courage to decide to do it, because a lot of people out there talk about wanting to do things, but very few have the courage to put themselves out there in a public space, especially doing something that they don't really know how to do, or you know what I mean? So you took a chance, and I think it's going to go work out great for you. So happy to be a part of it.
One of the things that we face as content creators is we've made a name for ourselves within the poker industry. So a lot of times people want us to continue down that path and always do poker related content. Mm-hmm. And I mean, as well as I do, like, we have other interests, like especially in the last year. I know you've been dabbling in a lot of other interests. Through your crypto. I know you've been like working on other business content type stuff. And like myself, I have interests outside of poker, and I wanted to be able to talk about it in a forum where people aren't going to be like, show me the hands, So this is what this Embrace the Grind channel has been all about. Just a long form of being able to talk about anything that we want to talk about outside of poker. Mm-hmm. And despite you making like a huge name for yourself within poker, I know you've been working on some other stuff lately. You've been really in the crypto space. I see you in the Twitter streets all the time.
Oh, yeah. I love Twitter. Twitter's awesome. It's my favorite place to be. It's kind of dead with poker right now for the most part. Maybe because on crypto, there's something always happening. So people are tweeting constantly, and there's like a bunch of different viewpoints. There's different coins people are in. There's different maximalists and different communities, and everyone's trying to make a name for themselves. And because right now it's like early stages of grabbing that attention in that space. So everyone's kind of competing up there. There's a lot of money at stake. This isn't, like poker, right? I mean, the top players are making 6 figures, 7 figures, right? I mean, we can speculate on that, and who knows, right? But in crypto, the top players are making billions of dollars. So you have some of these guys who are managing funds, or they're personal day traders, or they're with hedge funds, or venture capitalists, or startup. They're all these kind of things like that all come together in that space. So there's just so much more action there. And with poker, a lot of the biggest poker accounts on that platform specifically don't necessarily use the platform much anymore to talk about poker, because there's guys like a Doug Polk is just like, whatever, right? And you got Daniel Negreanu, he's talking about breast milk on there, and he mixes in some plays, got some hockey, he's got this. I unfollowed him personally because, I just had enough, man. So, when you look around the poker space on Twitter, you got Landon up there, he's doing a lot of content as well, but even then, it's not as much as kind of that stuff. So if you spend a lot of time on there, which is what I do, it can feel like there's not much going on, but in reality in poker, there's a lot going on right now. A lot of real cool things. And it's a good time to be real optimistic about what's going to happen with the future of poker in America. And online poker may be a different story, but live poker in America specifically and online poker in America specifically legalized, I feel like it's a really positive time right now in terms of where we've been at in the past. So I'm optimistic about that. And we got a lot of really cool things coming up in poker. So I'm excited to be a part of some of those things.
Nice. I take it you've been working on some projects that you can't really discuss, or?
I mean, I can talk about anything. It's just, I mean, when I think about, sharing, I've always been very open with my life in the past, right? I started blogging in 2008. I started posting on 2+2 in the community a long time ago. And, now I'm just taking a different approach, right? Like, I don't need to be that necessarily like put all what I'm doing out there, companies I'm trying to do or working with or anything like that. And I don't necessarily feel the need to have to promote myself or self-promote myself as much as I used to in the past, because in the past I was playing like, I thought that was kind of what you're doing. You get attention for what you're doing. You share your passions. You make people excited. You try to give value to people up there in these different ways. Maybe it's through entertainment. Maybe it's through strategy, education, sharing your own experience, telling your story from different angles, whether it's like authentic or whether it's embellished or whether it's sarcastic or whatever. So nowadays, and plus, I don't know what the fuck's going on, what I'm doing right now, right? Like, I started investing. I started private investing, right? Because I always get these offers from people about, do you want equity in our, we'll give you equity in our company. And I didn't know what this stuff meant, because I never really cared about like money. I never cared about anything like that. And finally, I was like, all right, I started hanging out with more of my business friends, and I was like, all right, let me learn about this stuff. And then I started learning, and I was like, oh, I'm, massive whale, right? I just don't know. I never thought about it. I'm playing a different game. I just did all this for fun. I just loved poker so much. I loved doing the content. I liked getting people hyped up, excited and stuff like that. And really right now with what I'm doing with private markets and with crypto and with finance and with working with different companies and just trying out different kind of jobs, I guess you'd say, different collaborations with different companies in poker and out of poker. I don't feel like I'm in a position where I can speak on that to the extent that I would like to sort of share my progress, because I think a lot of people think of what I say from an authoritative standpoint, and then they might start to really follow that and listen to that and feel like they're learning from that. And maybe I know more than them, but I certainly know I don't know a lot about a lot of this stuff. So for me, and also I don't have a product to sell. My product might be my partnerships or my working with you, but a lot of people in poker are selling shit, right? They're selling their course, they're selling their services, they're selling their bankroll, they're selling themselves in all these different ways like that. And that's why they're promoting themselves like that, is because that's the way they stay in business. Yeah. So for me, what I'm trying to do is just build my business differently. It's not as reliant on me having to publicly sell myself like that, if that makes sense.
When you first started making content though, there wasn't really a ton of money in poker content. All the money was ESPN and. Well,
there is, right? I don't want to.
Back when you started.
No, 100% there was. You just got to know how to make it, right? I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know how to make it.
When you first started, it wasn't with the intention of trying to make money through content. It was just you were having kind of fun with it, right?
Well, there was no one doing YouTube. So Jason Somerville did some YouTube. He kind of switched to Twitch, and I was like, "There's no one real good at poker," because I'm playing high stakes. I know all the guys. I'm like, there's no one really good making poker content. So I started making poker content, and I just felt like I could talk. I knew how to talk to people. Yeah. I could have conversations. I loved the game. I love Potlin Omaha. I love just all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and I knew what to do to be successful at it. Just be consistent. Keep it at it. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up.
So were you always gung ho on the great game of Pot Limit Omaha, or is that a more?
No, recent? I switched to that in 2010. So 2010, to get Supernova Elite on PokerStars, I switched to Pot Limit Omaha because you get more points per hand. How Supernova Elite worked was that it was a rewards program on PokerStars where the more that you raked, meaning each hand that you play, they take money out of the pots. People might know that, might not know that. And then a percentage of that, you would get points for that on PokerStars. So if you played 1 million hands in a year, which I was playing millions of hands during this time period, then you'd be able to accumulate points. And in return for those points, those convert to these FPPs. And whichever reward tier that you'd have, you'd get more FPPs if you're at the top tier, which meant that you'd be able to return those points for some actual money. So you could devise a strategy where you're actually losing in the game, but you're making money back on the reward side So you can build your bankroll and stay in business, pay your rent, survive, whatever it is that you want to do.
And Pilot Mid Omaha offered more ways to get points?
Right, because the average hand pot size was bigger. Therefore, there's more multi-way flops, more people seeing the flop. So therefore, there's the VPP per hand that you would get would be higher. So at 2-4 PLO versus 2-4 no limit, you might get like 1.2 VPPs per hand at 2-4 versus 2-4 hold. You might have got like 0.8. So to me, I was like, oh, I need those points. So, and then I switched, and I was fucking terrible at first because I tried 24 tabling it as my way to learn because I 24 tabled Hold'em. And then and after Black Friday, I switched back to Hold'em. And then I moved to Canada after Black Friday and switched back to PLO to do my Supernova Elite challenge that I had.
How many times did you get Supernova Elite?
I got it twice. I got it in 2010. I got it in 2011.
It's a cool milestone to have for those of you that are relatively newer to the poker industry. Supernova Elite was kind of like the badge of honor that said, if you have the Supernova Elite, you're the true grinder, you're the true professional. So I remember like looking up to a lot of those guys that were getting Supernova Elite and like, especially in Hold'em because that was my game. But people were getting it in like 2 months or like 3 months. It was absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So have you ever had a different job, or you just kind of always fell into poker from the very beginning after high school?
No. When I was in high school, I did a bunch of stuff. I mean, I was always like, I worked for one of my mom's friends for a long time, and he used to sell things on eBay. So we would go around to foreclosed houses. He'd go around to thrift shops and junk places. And then he started buying cars from the auction in Chicago. So we would sell cars on eBay. We would sell shit on eBay, trumpets, clarinets. I'd sit there. He'd tell me the description. I'd write it down. And I started doing this when I was like 13. I was selling things when I was younger. I was cleaning offices with my uncle. I started working at McDonald's back in the day when I was 16, right? Shout out to McDonald's. I love that. I was like, oh, it's the greatest food in the world. McDonald's, right? I fucking love this food. Ma's been giving me this all my life, right? And so I started working at McDonald's, and then I kind of got into service industry. And when I was 21, I moved to Chicago, moved to the city, which is about 45 minutes north of where I grew up at, which was like the big aspiration. You know, you grow up in the suburbs and you dream like, oh, maybe one day I'll get to the big city, get the fuck out of this place, right? I don't see nothing around here that's interesting me. So I wanted to get to Chicago, so I went to Chicago. My girlfriend that I met in the suburbs, she got a job at Lucky Strike in Chicago, so I got a job there, working with her for a little bit, and I found poker, man, and doing another service job, started making some money online, but in between I was losing money at the casino all the time. Yeah, and then I found out about Bankroll Management.
Yeah, I mean, Bankroll Management is not something you find out about until you go through it numerous times.
Exactly. You're like, what's going on here? I think I'm good, right?
Well, then you pull up the stats on your phone and you're like, I'm winning.
There ain't no stats and no phone, no poppy. No stats on no phone. There wasn't no stats on a phone in 2006, man. 2005. You weren't on your phone. Look at my tracker. It says this. There's none of that going on, right? Well, your stats were your bank account. Right? So my bank account said I had no money. Yeah. And, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when did you finally leave your service industry jobs to just go all in with poker?
When I made $1,000 on PokerStars, I said, "Fuck this, I'm quitting."
Okay, so
I went there. I go, I'm not working for that. I'm not the guy. These like 24-year-old managers straight out of college think they're telling but really they're doing their job. But you're like a kid. They're like, do this. You're like, fuck you, right? And well, not really. I was just like, this can't be it. This can't be what I got to be doing. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I just felt like that couldn't have been it. Yeah. So even though it was a lot of fun, I had a great time.
So you made the $1,000 on PokerStars and you quit your job, but it wasn't really like, oh, I'm going to be a poker professional now. It's just like,
no, 100%. I'm going to make it at this game.
Okay.
Because I used to watch poker every single day, and I would see these guys like Tom Dwan and David Benefield posting on 2+2 in like some like room with multiple computers down in Texas, acting like fucking idiots in the forums and talking about how much money they're making at poker. I was like, well, if these guys can do it, I can do it too, right? Which is kind of like a vision thing. Yeah. You have to see the vision for where you could get to before you can even understand that. Like, okay, well, now I see them doing it. Like before, I didn't think it was possible. I was like, this isn't like a real thing. Like people my age that are 21 or 22 can't do this. But when you see people that look exactly like you, that kind of sound like you, that talk like you, that you say, oh, well, if they can do it, then I can do it too. Which is kind of how I look at anything right now, is if I see someone that is successful at something, then I know it's possible to be successful at that. And we're both human beings. You just got to find the information out and how to actually do that and decide that you want to do it. So at that time, I decided, I was like, I'm going to make it at this. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means you got to be like a sponsored player, or if that means, that's what I thought was like, make it to the highest stakes possible, be a sponsored player. And that is what it means to make it, is for everybody to know you and for you to be playing the high stakes. So that was what I aspired to do from the beginning.
And was it like pretty smooth when you started doing that? Or was it like, I mean, I imagine you're
Smooth.
here today. You're here today with like
Smooth. No smoothness. No. You can read my blog, 2008, no smoothness, right? What I realized was I was a psychotic person. And I was able to grind for hours, 24 tabling. So you'd play 24 games at once, and I could just do this for hours. And that was so I basically joined 2+2, which is a poker community. It used to be the biggest poker community. Now, the people that are still left there posting a lot. It's not something like a lot of regulars kind of left, and it really ain't the same place it used to be. But I'll always have support for those guys. Shout out to my man Mason, who started 2+2, and Mason, Matt, and a lot of legends on there I've gotten to know very well, and that was really how I got my start in my career. But I used to post in the micro stakes forums on there. There was like a little hierarchy where it'd go micro stakes forums, mid stakes, high stakes, and like you'd always read high stakes. All the cool guys, high stakes players, you're reading them. You're like, I'm fucking Ike's saying this guy's saying that, whatever, right? And so I started posting on micro stakes, and I just played long sessions and thought it was normal. So I'd post the sessions, post the hands, and
were you getting any rake-back at this point, like with all the hands that you were?
Yeah, on PokerStars you had like Supernova program, yeah.
Okay, so you right out the gate, you were just like playing an insane amount of hours, studying on 2+2, losing money, getting back in the game. Did you ever get a job after you left that one job?
No, man, that was it. So once I started, I never turned back. Like I always knew, because I could always beat lower stakes when I learned what Bankroll Management was. Like I never was not able to beat 10 cent, 25 cent, right? When I started playing, I could always beat that stake. Yeah. And then when I moved to 25 cent, 50 cent, I could always beat that stake. And then I moved to 50 cent dollar, I could always beat that stake. So I never had a problem beating any of those stakes. Therefore, and it was bad because I would shot take all the time. Yeah. And because I always knew, I was like, whatever, I move back down, I'll play the next 3 weeks straight, I'll make it all back. Yeah. So very fucking stupid in retrospect. My approach was terrible. It really was. Was I successful at it? Yes. Right. But was it the good approach? Absolutely not.
Do you remember the first thing that you would call quote unquote content that you uploaded to the internet related to poker?
Yeah, I did. My blog was one thing on Liquid Poker, but I did a 50,000 hands in one day prop bet.
Okay, I've seen clips
2009.
of this.
Yeah,
your desk was a disaster. It was
on purpose. So I wanted to make it look funny. So I put a bunch of junk food there, put Red Bulls there. It's the most sarcastic. It's basically based on this guy named Cheerin80. This guy Athene. He was some World of Warcraft guy. He came into poker, made a goofy video, and I was like, I'm gonna make a goofy video like that too for this bet. So I did 50,000 hands in a day at 10 cent, 25 cent. And I needed to be profitable in it. So I was like, I'm going to make like a preview video with our next door neighbor was the massage girl. I just was like joking around, talking about like peeing in bottles and stuff like that. Like I thought it was hilarious, right?
Peeing in a bottle, you're ahead of your time, actually.
Listen, it depends on who you are and what you believe, right? But yeah. That was the first video I ever really uploaded. Like, what's up, guys? I'm here to tell you I'm going to become the best grinder in the world. Play 50,000 hands.
I mean, that's insane because your true personality, I think this is one of the biggest hurdles that people have on creating content. I know specifically for myself, when I started creating content, when I turn on that camera, I wasn't me. Yeah. It took me like some getting used to like develop a relationship with the camera where I was like, okay, I can just be myself when I turn the record button on. But I remember watching that video and you have that same energy now that you had then. It was just a younger Joey coming through on the camera. So it feels like you've always kind of had a knack for just being in front of the camera and talking.
Well, that's because I've thought about this a lot, right? Because you try to trace back, like, why the fuck did I ever do this? Because, when you play in like an attention-based game or a status-based game, like it ain't easy. You get in a lot of shit. I've been being put down for 10 years on the internet, right? I was trolling. I've been Elon Musk making a lot of things on Twitter. So I said something on Twitter, and someone said something about like hateful comments. I was like, buddy, I don't think about hateful comments the same way most people think about hateful comments. Like I've been getting hate for a long time, right? Whatever you want to call hate. And for me nowadays, like, sure you don't want to read them, but like what, I just block them or I don't read them. You can say whatever you want to say about me. You say, whatever, right? I've thought about it all myself, like the worst things possible about myself. Mm-hmm. I've considered them all. Anytime someone says something, like I either use that as like, yeah, you're right, or motivation or anything like that. So Yeah, man.
Do you find yourself ever in the streets like battling with the trolls ever?
I mean, I don't give a fuck what a lot of these people got to say. I mean, like that, right? Like at this point in time, I've cared in the past for sure, but right now, I'm not really doing anything right now that people are going to be arguing with me about. You know, what do you want to argue about? You know, like when I was in the great game, like what do you really want to get into? You know what I mean? You don't agree with the play. I played this hand. I don't like, that's cool. Tell me what you think. I'll learn from it. I use hate as learning. Like you tell me these things and you could say I'm this, I'm that. I change this way, that way. Like it's just kind of learning more about myself from your viewpoint. So whatever, right? I take it all in, but you know, obviously I used to want to be really cared about like being, you know, I wouldn't say like being liked, but just kind of like, you know, maybe a little bit being liked in some ways, right?
Yeah.
And I think about this a lot. Like what made me good is I used to always be into like famous things. Like music, the top actors, the top musicians, because I'm in America, which is America's if you're programmed by American content growing up in the 80s and 90s, it's all about glamour and status and fame and money and these sorts of things like that. So when you grow up like a kid, you might say, oh, well, that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to, like, what is success in America is being famous or being recognized or being appreciated at that sort of level. And then you might go back to some sort of childhood stuff and say, well, maybe it's some sort of respect that you want to get because you maybe didn't get that from a certain family member or certain friendships or anything like that. So now you sort of build up a life where you say, okay, I want to build this life to gain this type of respect from these sorts of people. And, you know, so it's like a combination of things like that. I think that, you know, really drove me so hard. And also I thought that was how the game was played. Like if I'm going to do content, why wouldn't I want to be the best at what I'm doing?
Yeah. Well, was there a decent gap in between you uploading that record video where you did the prop bet and then like your first podcast? Or
yeah, I did. The first podcast was in 2014. Okay. Yeah, so this video was like 2009.
What were you doing in between that time in terms of content? Were you doing anything related to content?
I just did like random like blogs. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to set this record today. I'm going to do this challenge. I lived in Australia. I'm at Tomorrowland. I like, you know, put some videos with my friends, some girls and stuff YouTube? Like that. Was this on my YouTube channel? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
How did those videos do back in the day before you started?
I never even looked at that stuff. Really? I don't know. I never cared. The only time I started caring about anything like that was when I already knew Doug Polk, but when Doug Polk started doing content and we started working together, that's when I started even being like concerned at all, because that was how he would judge a lot of success, was by how many people were watching stuff. So he would tell me like, well, don't you want people to watch your shit? And I was like, I don't really care, man. Like, I honestly, I don't care. Like, he's like, why don't you title it this way? Why don't you put the thumbnails like this? Why don't you do it like this? I was like, man, that's good advice. Great advice, really. Because we used to study all the time together and, or just talk strat, kind of things like that. And, but I was like, I just don't care. It's not what I'm doing it for. And once I started doing that, I really didn't like it, because that's easy, bro. I mean, this stuff's so easy. You know, like to make content that people watch is very simple to do, because there's other content that people watch on the internet. You just go see what they did and do it. You put your spin on there. I'm not going to get into it around here. You don't have a training site or anything like Course to Pro or anything like that. But like that stuff's simple. So, but when you start doing that, you start thinking about things differently. And I just didn't really enjoy thinking about it that way, because it was, you know, I liked doing things with people that no one knows. You know, so I like having people on that you didn't know, really. Is
it the marketing that you don't love, or you just
No, I do love it. Oh, okay. Absolutely. I would love to do it for other people, which is what I'm doing right now. But I don't want to like be the person at the forefront of that game anymore, because it's a lot to handle, man. All that attention is a lot to handle. Yeah. And
I've noticed that given that it's a lot to handle, you tend to like disappear, take breaks from time to time. You know, sometimes I just have to message you on Instagram being like, are you okay, Joey? I haven't like seen any content from you lately. And you're just like, yeah, I'm good. I just needed some time. You're off on some like mountain in Utah or something. And then you just resurface, and then all of a sudden it's 17 podcasts in 25 days again. Mm-hmm. Is that just how you operate? It's
a necessary now. I realize this is the most important thing I've realized from my time off I took. Okay. Was that like a part of being successful at what you're doing is to take time off to recharge and to disconnect from your work and focus on your relationship and focus on being outside in the sun, at the park, at home, visiting family, visiting friends, versus when you're with those people, you're always thinking about your job, which is how I've always done it, right? Job, work, okay. So I just realized, like, for me, the biggest thing holding me back was not taking a vacation, was not taking that time to recharge and to just disconnect from it, to stop being so obsessed with it and just say, hey, if this all falls apart, when I come back, then fuck it, right? If my life falls apart right now, I got nothing, I got nobody, you know, I'm here, I mean, wherever I'm at, no matter what happens, right? It is what it is, man. You make the best of it.
Because of the community that you built, that's actually impossible now. Like, nobody's gonna, like, people, you're gonna have people in your corner no matter what. It's been like this byproduct of creating a rabid community of people that want to support you. So when you took those months off in July, August, September, basically 3 months off, were you focusing on relationship at that point?
Trying to, yeah.
Yeah, I remember you came back and did a podcast with Doug shortly after this, and you broke down. You were like, you just felt like, or maybe
that was the year before.
Oh, it was the year before?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go through these cycles of just like feeling like you've had too much and then just needing like a break.
Bro, I could be the best. I get so emotional now because I used to be dead inside from poker, because that's how you needed to be for me. Like, I couldn't handle $10,000 swings every day without killing all my emotions. That's what actually got me to that point. Yeah. To be successful past 10-20 was to be able to not be emotional at all about anything, wins or losses. And I killed the emotion. Also good for investing. I've realized this now too.
You've been in Las Vegas for over 10 years now?
No, 3.5.
What?
Yeah.
So you were in Chicago though.
I was in Chicago. I moved to San Diego, moved to Canada, moved to Australia, went back to San Diego a little bit, came back to Indiana, moved out to Vegas, but I've stayed all over the world. I've been in different places, stuff like that. Because
you've done your podcast always from Vegas, from your apartment, I've just felt like, because they've been on the air for so long, it just feels like you're Mr. Vegas now. Do you see yourself staying here for a while?
Poppy, listen, I mean, that's like by design, right? You know, that's why I lived here. That's why you moved here, right? It's like, you know, this is the place to be. If you're in poker, man, you got to be in Vegas. This is where everybody comes. This is where the biggest games are, debatably, right? Depending on where you play now. And it depends which games you know about. So I would actually say the biggest games here, right? I'm sure you could say there's a Silicon Valley game, whatever, right? I don't give a fuck if there is.
There's also Macau.
Right, exactly. In Vegas, there's some huge games in Vegas. You can find whatever you want to find.
Yeah.
Right? If you really want to find a really high-stakes game, you can find a really high-stakes game. Yeah. I'm sure in Macau, those guys are degenerates. Who knows what's going on, right? Yeah. The traveling games around the world, who knows what's going on? The app games, who knows what's going on, right? Yeah. So that isn't necessarily as true now where it is the center, but I feel like poker in Vegas will come back. The win's going to step it up. And
it's important, though, because even though like maybe not the best middle stakes games or the best smaller stakes games or the best higher stakes games are in Vegas, it's still like the epicenter. It's like Yankees Field for baseball. It's like Dodgers Stadium, you know? Just because the World Series isn't played in Dodgers Stadium every single year doesn't mean that it's not like an epicenter for baseball. And I feel the same way about Las Vegas. And it's the reason why I can just call you up and you can just come over in 10 minutes from your apartment. Yeah. You know, I talked to Marley as well. She just hopped over, and, you know, all the big players within the poker space make Vegas their home in some way or another. Everybody meets up for the World Series of Poker every year. You know, it's a great place to be if you love poker. And, you know, the same way that Silicon Valley is for tech, you know, you probably don't need Apple to live in Silicon Valley, but for some reason it does, because it's just, that's where all the people congregate that are passionate about tech and that want to make great tech. So you're right, dude. And I'm glad that I locked down this apartment for a while, because it feels right just having this place to come and hang out with and connect with people that are sharing my passion of poker. Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. You make a good point, right? I think, you know, also we view things from our own lens because we're older. And a lot of people that are getting into poker, like, they know poker from video blogs. And they see Vegas in video blogs, and Vegas is iconic. I mean, bro, this place is so sick. No other place like it in the world, with these casinos, with the lights, with the 24 hours. You know, whether you might say poker's in a different place or not, whatever, it's still always going to be in Vegas, man. This is where people are going to come to play poker. You could say, okay, people might go to Texas, people might go to Florida, and I would agree, people do go down there too, but it ain't like
going to Texas and Houston ain't like being in Vegas, man, playing, right? You might find some crazier games down there because some of those guys are really out of line. And, quality of game-wise is a different story, but you can still find great games here.
Yeah.
You
recently went to Houston.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like the first time that you've traveled outside of Vegas for poker in a while.
Maybe in a long time. The first, I always get offers to go to these events. Basically how it works is event hits you up and, you know how it goes, right? Yeah. Events hit you up. They might offer you value for you going down there. In return, you participate in their event. You can negotiate all those kind of things, right? So I really liked the promoters of that named Kim Stone. Kim Stone was the one putting on that Lone Star series and dealt with her before. She pitched me really hard on going down there during September. I was like, I'm doing a music video. And I was just not feeling it.
Doing a music video? What's going on?
I've done a lot of things in this past year. I've done so many things I never thought I would do.
Has the music video been released?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
it ain't my music video, but it's my friend's music video.
Well, it's going to be B-roll right now over the top of this conversation.
Oh, okay. Well, it's called Clowns by Mark Eatson. Shout out to my man Mark. It was basically a video we shot around Vegas. The theory was he'd be like he had like Trump or Biden, and then we had these like sexy girls that were in clown masks and they were in lingerie. So that wasn't the lingerie thing. It was Mark's idea.
So what was your role in this whole music video production?
Making it, organizing it, man.
See, that's the thing, is that you're just Mr. Everything for all of these industries: the music industry, the poker industry, crypto, startups, and technology. So yeah, I can see it in real life now with the music video. How did you enjoy Texas?
Oh, Texas was awesome, and it was awesome because I tried for content a little bit. I tried. I don't really try on content anymore. On Twitter, I don't try anymore. It's very basic. I like talking to people. I talk with a lot of people from investing, from business, those are the people I follow now. When you mention those things, because those are the people I choose to follow to learn more about, because that's what I'm super passionate about. So I'll message all these people. I'll be like, yo, what's up? I love your shit, right? And some people respond, some people don't. No, we'll all respond in 3 years. So it don't, you know what I'm saying? No, it don't. People might get dejected. You message a person, they don't respond. I know it works for me when people hit me up, right? I know how that works. And sometimes you build a connection. Sometimes you don't. I just want to find people that are interesting that I can enjoy talking to. So with the Texas stuff, I tried a little bit with content, which was fun because I know how to get people a little excited about things. And the games were so fun. The event was great. Kim was great. The location at Champions Club, those people were super nice to me. They, they said, hey, you want to do an event? You want to come down here? You want to PLO stuff? We got a live stream game back there. I'm like, I saw Berkey down there. Shout out to my man Berkey.
Did you extend your trip? Okay, yeah. You were there and you're like, I'm staying longer.
I could have stayed there for a while, bro. That was pretty fun, man. My man Fireman Scott was down there, took me to get a cowboy hat. Shout out to my guy. And I don't want to get more into what happened in Texas, but I had a great time in Texas. It was a fun time. PLO was popping. I met so many fans that were just so sweet.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. If people are like,
Texas is popping.
They're just so sweet. Yeah. They're so nice. People are so nice.
I did a road trip through Texas, and when I stopped in Dallas, somebody had one of the people that followed me just had a goodie bag for me, and they were like, I know that you like spicy food, so I got you these spicy chips that they make in Texas, and we got Calvin a dog bone, and I'm just like, oh, and he got a dog bowl that was that expensive company based in Austin, the thermoses, that company. I can't remember the name of it, but you guys are gonna know what I'm talking about. Anyways, got me those expensive dog bowls for Calvin. I'm like, these things are just so thoughtful, and I don't know. I'll never really get tired of people just recognizing my content and saying thank you. That's the sickest, man.
Think about this, buddy. We make content. These people watch it. And then they get to meet you in person, and it's amazing. I think it's the coolest thing ever when people come up to you and they're like, I've been watching your stuff. They recount things. I'm like, bro, that's insane. That's fucking crazy. It's just crazy, because I think about, for me, watching people, and I feel that same way about them. I'd like to talk to them too, right? The people I consume, I'd love to have a conversation with them. So I like that part of the events. That's my favorite part, because I can talk to anybody. Yeah. You're a weird person, awkward, cool, funny, black, white, old, young, business owner, whatever. I talk to all these people. I love them. I enjoy it so much. And that's what I realized with that event, to go in there. It was like, I just love doing that. It's so fun. Yeah. So fun to meet people, shake hands, talk to them. They tell you some stories. You learn some stuff. I met a lot of people. They follow me on Instagram or invite me here, invite me there. You want to do this? You want to do that? Like, hell yeah, I want to do everything, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of fun, but that's how business works too, right? Like if you just take that same approach and you take that to business, right? Instead of meeting a fan down in Dallas, you're meeting a company, you're meeting a person, I like to meet people that work in all parts of the business, because you never know when you're going to need a talented person who wants to work together with you, who has ambition, who can provide you value, or a company that you work with provide them value. Because what I've realized in poker is a lot of these companies all need people to work with them. Every company in poker, my company right now I'm working with right now as an advisor, we need 6 positions right now, right? How do we communicate that need to the world at a scale where it can get attention to find quality hires?
Yeah.
Big problem in poker right now. I noticed in crypto, Pomp did that, crypto Pomp jobs. Anybody out there wants to do that with me for poker, I'll be more than happy to help you out with your project, but you'd have to do most of the work. So, because that's a big thing in poker right now is what I've been noticing. It's just like, there's just, and then you can look at this 2 ways. You can look at it like, one, well, fuck this, right? I don't want to deal with this shit. I want to play poker. I want to do something else. I let someone else do it, Or you could look at it as opportunity and say, well, how can I assist these issues in whatever way I can? And for a long time, I was always the first way, where I said, you know what? Let somebody else do it, right? Legalization poker, let someone else handle that. Putting on great events, World Series of Poker, got the fucking vendor. They got 3 cell phone charger guys there. All right, there, you let them do it, right?
Yeah.
You know what, man? I don't think so anymore. I just...
One day you woke up and you're like, this cell phone
No.
situation-
I've thought this since I talked to Dane Negreanu about more rake is better, and we had a debate on my podcast 4 years ago, and I didn't know what the fuck this guy was saying. Ever since that moment, that's what the moment for me when I say, you know what, I'm going to learn what the hell's going on here, right? I'm going to learn what the hell's going on with ACR. I'm going to figure out like why I see things this way. Why is it that way? And I've just set out to learn that, to figure out what the hell's going on here. And there's a lot of things I don't know. It's
interesting. I've noticed that you've used your platform to help people get money back that have been like scammed from certain sites. Like somebody wasn't paying out someone and then they message you on Twitter. You instantly get it taken care of by reaching out and saying, what's going on here?
What am I solving a problem? I didn't even know this, what I was doing.
Yeah, exactly.
I've done some ones behind the scenes. Most of my stuff's not behind the scenes.
I've also done stuff behind the scenes through the app system.
What's
like people are so shady and they're like, oh, so-and-so won't pay me because they said I was cheating. And then I'm like, I go talk to them and it gets taken care of. It's just like the only way that it gets taken care of is with somebody who has a little bit of influence, is willing to invest some time and energy into it. Unfortunately, behind the scenes, these little guys are getting squashed so often. And if they don't have the wherewithal to reach out or reach my ears or your ears or someone else's ears, they just end up getting screwed.
I don't like doing that, man. I really don't. I noticed that after all the Mike Postle stuff, right? It's like, I didn't really like that at all. You might say you did a service to help people out and stuff like that, but like I didn't like that at all, man. That's why I ain't done it again. I'm not doing it. I probably won't do things like that again publicly. Where like if I find something out, I know I know a lot of stuff. So it's like
the problem.
What are you gonna do? Am I gonna out everybody? Am I gonna out every single thing comes across my attention? Yeah. Right? Because I get people after that. I got so many people sent me messages, and I'm like, fuck. Yeah. And obviously I know there's some things happening, right? But it's like, well, what am I going to do? That ruined my life. Yeah. Like you might say, oh, it was a good thing for my career or something, but like it ruined my life, man. It ruined my relationship. It ruined my life. And it fucked me up for a long time. And, it really hurt my relationship. It was probably the number one thing, which just set me into like a massive depression, sort of just seeing what happened and seeing how it worked out. And just saying like, what the fuck happened here, man? Like, what's going on? Even they're filing lawsuits against this guy, $30 million. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Like, this guy don't got $30 million. What the fuck is going on here? You know what I'm saying? So you try to figure out like, what's happening here? Why is this happening? And then you look about the poker aspect and be like, I don't even want to play poker again. Like, now I just want to play. I don't want to worry about this kind of stuff happening. Yeah. And then when you start to find out how much it's happening, which I already suspected it was, I don't think you can be a successful poker player with that mindset. Yeah. So, and that was real depressing for me because I've always loved poker. And after that, I was like, this is probably it, man.
For reference, Joey's referencing the Mike Postle situation where it came to his attention that Mike Postle could possibly be cheating. So he reviewed on live streams, I don't even know how many days in a row for how many hours you did it, but obsessively looked at hand after hand after hand to go down the rabbit hole to see if he thought, that there was something suspicious going on. And the bottom line is that it took a strain on his relationships, and it took a strain on obviously your mindset with like wanting to ever do anything like that in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I
very
didn't
high
even
profile case.
Yeah, I mean, I barely did much. Even the content I did after that, I basically was stopping. I was done with content. I was not going to do content anymore. And then Phil Galfond messaged me about his challenge. He's like, "Can you help out?" I said, "Sure." So if you notice, you go back and see my content. I only did Galfond challenge videos, and then there was like a week where I helped out my friend Dylan with Upswing, helped him promote that, and then there was like coronavirus week, and then it was basically just Galfond challenge on YouTube specifically. And then during July, August, I did those videos, and I took a break, and then Doug came back. I wanted to help out Doug, so I did those videos. The other video I did this year was helping out my friend Dylan once again, and then I wanted to do something with Landon for the Hellmuth vs. Doug thing. Mm-hmm. So basically, the theme is that I just do things with my friends. Yeah. I help my friends out. I try to, put them on as well too. Like with Doug Daniel, I wanted to help out Doug, and I thought that'd be fun to be a part of. So also, I wanted to help out Landon, which is one of the main reasons I did that was to have Landon do commentary with me, because I knew it'd be good for him to get that experience in and to be a part of a historic event like a Daniel Negreanu versus Doug Polk match. So but that's really why I was involved with those things in the past.
I kind of want to touch on Landon. It's been interesting how you've kind of taken him underneath your wing and helped him clear a path to recognition within the poker industry. Obviously, he's worked very hard on his own, but you have really helped him along the way, involved him in a lot of your content. How did that relationship start? And it seems like you guys are really great friends now.
Yeah, I mean, he started, he started doing timestamps on YouTube for me. He was like, I don't know what he's playing. He's in college, playing like 5 cent, 10 cent, wasn't a winning player, I don't think, or he says he's a winning player or whatever. I don't even believe him, but, so he was doing timestamps for me. And then one day he sent me this real long message on Twitter, which he's dying to post, because it's like literally like 3 paragraphs about how he wants to become one of the best players in the world. And he's telling me about his story, and I was like, I think I said something like, "All right, fuck it, I'm in. Like, let's do it, right? Like, I'll help you out, okay?" Wow. And so then we started talking all the time, right? We started chatting. He started playing smaller stakes, and he was like getting coached and staked for like 5 cent, 10 cent, or 10 cent 25, something like that. And I was like, that doesn't sound smart, buddy, right? And I was like, I did it this way, and he's like, I'm gonna do it this way. I was like, yeah. In retrospect, his way much smarter than mine, right? But I was always against staking. He was always like, I should get staked. Why not? I just want to play. I want it. And he's always just been like the sweetest kid, super fucking nice, like hardworking. Yeah. He always had that mindset. Just needed to be kind of pushed in a direction to believe in himself. And he also likes the attention aspect of it, because he wants to be an ambassador for poker. He wants to help spread the game out there. He wants to get out there. He wants to get the mix. He wants to create excitement. And he's always been just works hard every day, man. And also you said something earlier, like I helped him. I mean, he's helped me like want to be alive. You know what I'm saying? So
amazing. Yeah. So it sounds like you've really built a friendship with him. I think one of the key things about that relationship is that he was just a person on the internet for a long time, and the fact that he was providing value for you by creating timestamps and just like doing little things like modding your channel was one of the reasons why you were like, fuck it, I'm in, when he like sent you that message. Like, it's not because some guy, sent you a message one time and was like, help me. It was a culmination of just like showing up and providing value for people. I think that's just like the hidden secret for so much of the relationships that we build in our life. And it's honestly, I'm staking someone now in Vegas, my roommate here in this apartment, and it was the exact same thing. He was like buying every time I released a hoodie, bought it. Every time I like did a live stream, he was in there chatting. Every single thing I did, he just wanted to support me. And through like over the years, you just kind of want to provide value for them.
Yeah, I could see that being dangerous, man. Now someone out there, because I turn my messages off because I got too many. I mean, I got thousands of messages on the platform, stuff like that. And I want to help out everybody, really. but it's so overwhelming, and I'm not as organized as I want to be, and I got other issues in my life I'm trying to figure out with my personal life and business life that like I'm really trying to figure out how to allocate the energy I have throughout the day, each day. And when you got friends, I wanted to be a better brother. I wanted to be a better son. I want to be better to my friends I have, because I got a lot of friends, and you got to figure out how the hell do you do all that kind of stuff. So, not many people have really gotten through what you're saying, right? You say that they supported you, commented,
it's pretty rare.
Very rare. You know what I mean? And like, another guy did, Jonah got through a long time ago, did the same strategy basically to me. And, he was one of my first hires actually. And and spoiled me in some ways, because I was just like, help me out there. He's like, we always want to start like a business called Always Accommodate. Right. And that's what it's about. Whatever you need, you tell me what you need and we'll make it happen. Because once a lot of that is just who you know. So talk about with the money thing, right? Like getting someone paid back. It's all about So if you know all the people that are in charge of all these companies, well then it makes it easier for you to get these problems solved. And a lot of times it's a legitimate problem that you can get solved. Sometimes you can't, sometimes you can. It happens. Yeah. So yeah, with kind of what you're saying, people doing that stuff, it's dangerous, because they might then do that with the expectation that they should get something back from you in return. And in reality, they aren't, right? Yeah. They're going to get enjoyment. They're going to get feeling, right? That's what marketing is: creating a feeling, creating a story, creating a sensation that then they wear the Johnny Vibes hoodie, or they support you. That makes them feel great, because they are supporting someone who's given them so much in their life. And then if that ends up to a point where then they expect like, well, I want FaceTime, I want to talk, like I want to do this, I want to do that, hang out with me, you're in my city, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing this, right? Could lead to some resentment, some anger. And this is what's happened to me. Is this happened to me where, I've dealt with some things behind the scenes like that, where people were upset at me because I didn't help them with their problem. And I'm like, buddy, I got my own fucking problems. Me and my problem. Like, I got a lot of issues, right? So I didn't see you helping me with my problem. What the fuck is your problem with me? And that's the danger in that. And that's where stalkers come in, or crazy people, whatever you want to call them. I don't look at it like that, right? Everybody thinks about these things differently. So, but that's the danger in that. When you give so much access of yourself to people, you potentially allow that to take place. And to me, that's a part of doing business.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen it. I've seen the interactions on Twitter where, someone will reach out to you. I'm playing at XYZ casino or win or whatever. And you just like show up and you're just like in their game, like messing around
sometimes,
with them.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, so I've seen you do that. But like the fact that you do that and you don't do that one time, like I can't see people getting upset with that, but of course it happens.
I'm sure I do things people, don't like it and upset it. Remember one time a guy had his girlfriend sitting behind him at the table, and I just like to joke around about like, why would anybody have their girlfriend sit behind them at the poker table, right? To learn, a bunch of reasons, right? Good ones, bad ones, whatever you want to say. And he was like, oh, like I didn't like a joke you made. I was like, buddy, listen, my bad, right? Like I didn't mean to fucking offend you to where you're gonna hold it against me for 6 years, like I did with Hellmuth before. And
you had a grudge with Hellmuth.
I wouldn't say it was a grudge. I felt disrespected by him. You know what I'm saying? And I felt disrespected by the guy. You
guys made up?
I don't know.
What did he do to disrespect you?
I mean, I've told the story before. It ain't worth telling. It don't matter really. I like Hellmuth. He's a character, bro. Like that dude is so hilarious. He's so fucking funny. He's one of the only people that tries on Twitter. Yeah. Anyone that tries on Twitter in poker, I'll support. Kevin Martin, shout out to Kevin Martin. The guy's fucking trying out there, right? Anyone that tries on Twitter, I'm going to support in poker. So Phil Hellmuth, I love that guy. He's getting out there. He's a great ambassador. He's spreading the game. And sure, he might not be as cool to a certain generation now, but that dude is a legend of the game. And you got to respect the legends of the game. Unless they really piss you off, then it's not a disrespect to them. It's just, I don't like that person. Yeah. So for me, I have so much respect for all the people that have come before me to help build poker to this. And I know a lot about them, and a lot of these guys, they all got ups and downs, right? Yeah. They done some shit.
For sure.
They got in trouble. What are you going to do? Am I going to be like, fuck you? Like, I don't see the community like that. I'm in the poker community but
we have people in the community that have deservedly been ostracized. Perhaps been too light on them. People like Russ Hamilton, Mike Postle obviously has not, nobody's gone light on him, but then you have like Howard Lederer, Annie Duke, like all these. And I feel like the poker industry, while ruthless, these people, they still participate in the World Series of Poker. You know, you see Chris Ferguson playing in the events all the time. Russ Hamilton still grinding in the World Series of Poker. And
I mean, I'm personally, I'm a forgiving person, right? I think when it comes to stuff, right? I mean, and like you say, okay, we ostracized the guy, like, yeah, you ain't his friend. These people got friends, like, and if my friends do some fucked up shit, right? Like, you might not promote them, or you might say, oh, I don't want to be around that too. But, you know, what are you going to stop talking to them forever? You could do that, certainly, right? That's certainly an option you might want to take. And, you know, everyone kind of handles things differently. You know, people were hard on Negreanu because he was friends with Eric Lindgren. Eric Lindgren was in some stuff, and they were like, why don't you go hard against your friends? Like, I see it both ways. If I don't want to go hard against my friend, I'm not going to fucking listen to this random person I never see in my entire life, or even people I do know that say, you should be mad at your friend. Like, you know, I'm getting a little old for that right now. So, you know, if someone's going to try to tell me who I can be friends with or support or not support, and people try to do that all the time. They've always done that, especially with my podcast. They say, don't have this person on. Don't talk about this story. Don't promote this. Don't promote that. And I understand that they want me to promote what they think is right, or their agenda, or anything like that. So ultimately, at the end of the day, you got to decide what you want to do for yourself. And then if people got a problem with that, then it is what it is. If that impacts your business, if that impacts your relationship, you know, I used to care a lot about that stuff. And right now, you know, I can't say I care about it to that same amount of level, because I tried real hard for a long time about that kind of stuff. So, you know, you can't make everybody happy.
Do you see yourself returning to the Poker Life podcast anytime soon?
Well, I got to with this company I'm working with. I told him I'd do a podcast with my man Matt Jarvis, Cashlight Poker. Shout out to Cashlight Poker. Okay. My first 9-figure exit coming in 3 years or less.
Nice.
Amen. I don't know. It's the goal. It's a banger project. But yeah, so I want to help him do a podcast with me. And there's a bunch of people I want to have on. I want to have Landon on. I want to have Perkins on. I want to get Patrick Antonius on, and I wanted to get Tom Dwan on. I want to get Phil Ivey on. So if I have the opportunity to get some of these legends on, I'm going to do it now while I'm still.
Has there been someone that you want to get on that you haven't gotten on yet? That's kind of been like on your bucket list to get them on? Because I feel like you mentioned Antonius. He's never been on before.
No.
Dwan's never been on. Mm-mm. Wow. Okay, so that's basically what you were going through. It was your bucket list there. A lot of guys.
Doyle Brunson.
Oh, Doyle Brunson.
That dude's a crazy guy. I mean, listen, like, let's talk about Doyle Brunson, right? We look at this guy as a legend of the game. He's historic. The guy's openly talking about his cheating stories on Twitter right now, right? So this guy's talking about this cheating stories and how he would hustle people, right? On Twitter right now, everyone's like, oh, it's the greatest story ever, right? Everyone's like, fuck yeah, you know, oh, you got him, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? It seems a little weird, but the guy's a legend, right? So you know, of course I'd like to hear his stories. I want to have him on. I want to hear the bad. I want to hear the good. I want to hear how he's learned it from it. I want to hear what his perspective is. Like, you know, the guy's a legend. Of course, it's also great for content. Yeah. But now the guy's telling those stories. Should you not have the guy on?
I mean, no, of course not.
Should I have Mike Postle on in 10 years? Should I have Russ Hamilton on in 15? Should I have Howard Letter on now? Should I not talk to these people because they were involved in some things? If we're going to speak about the positive, speak about the negative as well, too,
I think that you should definitely have them on because they maybe want to present their side of the story, and then you can let the viewers be the judge of how they want to judge. Yeah. And as like a journalist, you're not taking sides when you have people on. Yeah. Let's call you a journalist. You're a brand, you're a journalist, you're a business.
Something, buddy. I don't know what the fuck I am, man. I'm just here, 35 years old, getting gray hair, all that stress from poker. Yeah. I'm just here, man. You know.
Are you
single guy?
Yeah.
Last two relationships failed pretty bad. In some ways, maybe not.
Honestly, I had a really tough time dating in Vegas. It seems like one of the hardest places in the world to date.
I got some great advice the other night from a guy I met, a fourth generation Vegas guy at our dinner. And he said, in this city, people only want one thing, money. And then he said, don't trust anybody in this fucking city, including me. And I was like, yeah, I'm very much how I approach things, right? Like that's what I always think about, right? Everybody wants more. They want more business. They want more money. They want to be around. And then some might say that's sad because it's not like that everywhere. But welcome to Vegas.
So maybe we can see a relocation from Joey to like somewhere in Texas, perhaps Houston, where it's easier to have relationships and people aren't just always about the one thing? Can you see
I mean,
yourself
it depends. What kind of woman am I going to meet, Poppy? What kind of woman am I as a 35-year-old guy who's psychotically obsessed with things?
Are you kidding me right now? 35-year-old man is prime of life, especially you're hitting your stride in terms of your business career. Come on now.
I'm just getting started, really, man. I don't know.
Exactly.
I got 35 years. It's going down as I don't think I'm going to want to do public figure stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And there'll definitely be, I think the person I end up with just be a sweet girl.
Yeah.
Not really into public stuff, like, goofy, weird, funny, well educated, because I've been basically studying every day for 5 years straight to build a different life for myself. Yeah. And I've always looked up to the real sharp people on my podcast, like a Barry Greenstein, like a Bill Perkins. And, sometimes you end up not in the best situations. You make mistakes, you do, but I still look up to those people that could help people out, could tell stories, were well educated, could help you out with your life, could provide value in different ways in terms of ways to structure mental models in your mind. And I really set out to kind of just learn as much as I can about the world and about, from the current material, from my own thoughts, from talking to different kinds of people and stuff like that. So I don't know what the future holds for the females, but I do know that options are abundant right now.
Oh, well, yeah.
With social media. So with Instagram specifically.
You might have to turn your messages back on.
Nah. I don't think a cold call in the DMs is the way to meet a woman.
Have you been on the apps?
No, I don't really use those anymore. I'm sure I can. Here's what I've realized, right? I just go outside, go with some friends, and just start talking to people. Yeah, you have a gift for talking to people, that's for sure. You could do it too, for sure. Yeah, but I mean, I don't have the same energy, and see, this is one thing that I've always done. So I'm generally a more reserved, laid back person. Yeah. And as a result, I've always surrounded myself with people like you, because that's just how energy works, right? Like if I'm a reserved person and I'm hanging out with another reserved person, we're going to be extra reserved. But if I'm a reserved person and I'm hanging out with you, like you're gonna pull me out of my shell a little bit, and like I'm gonna be a little bit more wild. I might calm you down a little bit in certain situations. So I feel like those kind of relationships work well, and it's one of the reasons why relationship with my wife has been so great, is because she's an extrovert and I'm kind of an introvert, and in a lot of situations, if it wasn't for her, like I would never leave the house. I would just I'd be on my computer making videos, doing poker stuff, content, all the stuff, like, and she's not here in Vegas right now. I'm not on the strip, like partying. Like I'm lining up interviews in my apartment. I filmed 2 videos last night. I got a flight back to San Diego in the morning. So she was like the yin to my yang. You know what I'm saying? She's cool. Shout out to Olga. She's awesome. She always got I just love Instagram. I love Instagram too, actually. And the main reason I like Instagram is I get to keep up with like the 25 people I like, right? And like I love you two together. You guys are awesome. She's always like at a gym with a bunch of girls, like sexy girls in San Diego. They're always working out. I'm like, what's going on in San Diego? Johnny Vibes is just like around attractive women all day long in San Diego. This guy's fucking this guy's getting after it, man. So I'm always enjoying that. I love chatting with you, man. You've been real great to me over the years, buddy. And I appreciate that a lot. And I love that about Instagram. Like you get to keep up with my other friends. Like it's what I like about social media. People see it as these things as negatives. I think they use the tools in unhealthy ways, right? Yeah. So I like to see what my various friend groups are doing. So you have like your party friends in Vegas, like shout out to Jonah, RB or David Lee, those guys. You got the guys that sometimes come into town from San Diego, from these other places. You get to see what they're up to. You got your family men friends. Shout out to my man Danny, my man Tyler. You get to see what they're doing. You got the poker friends like Landon, like my man Andrew Nemi or Brad Owen or anything like that. They post things up on Instagram. You just kind of keep up with what these guys are all doing in their lives. And it's always sad, like I wish Doug posted more on there because he's my guy, but he don't post much on there anymore. And so that part sucks. It's a way to keep up and keep in touch with people. I think it's amazing. I heard this recently, and I find it to be so true. So social media was designed to, it is social. Like you're interacting with other people. The problem is that the interfaces that we currently have available to us, our phone, our computer, are by definition antisocial. So it's just the instrument that we're using for social media. And it's the year 2021. Social media could explode into something that's actually
used on a device or not a device that's like social in nature. So if we could figure out a way, the guys in Silicon Valley can figure out a way to make social media available not on devices that are antisocial, but available in a social way. I could see it being absolutely monumental, great, keeping in touch with family, like you said, with Instagram, so we're not like looking down at our phones, but we're actually truly participating in like a social. I don't know if it's VR.
Well, what you're describing is augmented reality.
Yeah, but like that's what true social media could be.
That's coming, Poppy. That's the next. That's where I'm studying now.
Okay.
I'm not talking about a lot of what I'm studying on here for the most part. Kind of getting real basic with a lot of these things, just because one, I don't really want to talk about what I'm studying publicly for the most part, because a lot of it's crazy shit. Yeah. It ain't anything I've ever said before. So I don't want to act like I'm even know what I'm talking about, an authority or where I'm at with it, because I don't necessarily I'm not interested in really debating it publicly with people I don't know, and I don't know where they're coming from. And at that point, I just would rather not do that, just kind of stuff like that. But one thing that you learn from the investing side is you want to find out, you make a lot of wealth in innovation. So you got to figure, okay, where are the new trends, where are the new emerging markets, where are the new sectors? And then one thing that I took away from researching public markets like the stock market was you want to say, okay, well, where are the next sectors going to be? And what are those companies going to be in there? And what you realize when you study it is that a lot of these things are developing for 10 years, 5 years. So you can find people who work at companies who work with where the next generation is, the next technology that's private now. It's kind of like with poker software, actually. So these programs that are available now, some guy might just be figuring out about Pile Solver now, right? There's been solvers for as long as I can remember, but they were private. And when they say the Dream Machine is real-time assistance. There's been these programs around probably since before I started playing poker. And they're private for a number of different reasons. And that's what happens with this technology now is the AR, VR, it's private, it's out there, but mainstream media isn't telling you about it. Your favorite influencer isn't telling you about it because you don't follow those trends. It's like if you're not in NFT horses, you ain't going to know about NFT horses unless one of your friends switches over to NFT horses, starts shilling it on Twitter, then all of a sudden you know about a $15,000 Z1 Nakamoto, whatever it's called. So it's kind of like that. Do
you have any ownership in any of these horses?
No, I have. I got my VV. Shout out to VV. I have VV, my digital collectibles, on my phone right now, and right here. And somehow a digital collectible collection on here is somehow worth a bunch of money. I don't know if that's possible, but yeah, it's kind of a minute on that. So, but the point is that, and this program I have uses augmented reality, and it's the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. This is why I invested.
Have you seen the picture frames that you can put in your house that connect to your phone?
We're working on one of those.
Working on one of those? You plan on staying in your apartment for a while? Or are you looking to buy a house?
I'm so fucking fired up right now. It's talking to you. That's why I'm talking a lot. I don't get to talk about this stuff with anybody. As I said right then, I am a little nervous to share these things with people because it's so different than what I've done in the past. And
that's what this channel is. We're just talking about stuff that interests us and no expectation of poker. You know what's crazy is I had someone reach out about a video that I made on BitCloud on this channel, and they were like, "I loved your video on BitCloud. It was so well done. I was so shocked that you only have 2,500 subscribers. I'm a subscriber now." And I was like, "Oh, it's because I have a poker channel." And he's like, "Oh, I don't know anything about poker. I've never played poker before, but it was just recommended to me on the thing." So this is our space, Poppy.
Well, that's when I go back to what I initially said to you, which is courage, right? I have not had that courage. I've thought about doing a new channel since the beginning of fucking time. Talking with Doug. I always told Doug, Doug's like, "What do you want to do?" And I'm like, "I want to start a new channel, talk about new things." He's like, "Why don't you fucking do it?" I was like, "I don't know, maybe I will." Right? I want to do mainstream. I want to talk about different topics. I want to talk about other things I'm interested in because I could talk about Omaha strategy for days. I chose actively not to talk about poker strategy, right? But if you hear the way I talk about some other things, I used to be really, really good at poker. And nowadays, it's easy to be a winning poker player. It's all about who you play with. That's it. It's just game selection. So we don't need to get into the intricacies of what to do with certain types of ranges. We can talk about that. But to me, it's real easy to win at poker. It's honestly not even worth discussing. To me in some ways because it's just that easy.
Well, the tools are out there.
Exactly. I don't need to talk to anybody. I learned heads up poker on my phone only. I did do commentary. You can't necessarily do that. And I'm obviously downplaying on how impactful that is discussing what you're doing too. And I challenged myself during that commentary because I know everyone's going to be judging you when you listen. So I'm like, let me go for it a little bit. Let me talk.
Of course, yeah.
Let me challenge let me try to get into here. Let me listen to the smart guys and study every day. But yeah, with nowadays, like, yeah, the other stuff just interests me right now a lot. And poker still does, but not many people seem to be. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like, I guess poker is pretty popular, right? You know, people love vlogs and stuff like that.
I mean, it's exploding right now. Just the numbers of people that are playing 2-card PLO tournaments is out of control right now, Poppy. Do you see how many people played in Florida this past, I don't know, month ago?
Well, poker's going to blow the fuck up. That's why.
Yeah.
It's all on the trajectory. If you study, as we mentioned earlier, if you study the history of poker, you know that poker is about to blow up.
Yeah.
And there's a number of different factors, not just one factor. There's multiple different factors that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And eventually there's people like me and who are deciding that say, well, what does that mean? And how do I really impact that?
Mm-hmm.
Without relying on Poker Go, without relying on Poker Stars, without relying on GG Poker, without relying on these other companies.
Yeah.
So how can I do that? And then how can I work with these companies to help them succeed at what they're doing too?
Yeah.
So that's how I look at that.
I could talk to you all day, man. Like we've done down so many roads, and we haven't even really touched on like your background, your relationships. Like we've gone so many different places. I'm definitely going to have you on for a part 2, especially now that we're neighbors here in Vegas. Because
yeah, we haven't talked about crypto at all. That's what I'm studying the most.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But like, I
so
think
funny.
We'll get you back on in a couple months
Sounds great.
For a follow up, and because like right now, we don't really know the direction that you're going. We know that you're going to be in Vegas. We know you got your hands in a lot of things, and I'm excited to see what those things are. Obviously,
me too.
If you want to connect with Joey, the best way is to tweet at him. Don't send him a direct message because his messages are turned off. Tweet at him publicly. And like I said, thank you again. I look forward to future talks. I look forward to being able to hang out with you here in Vegas.
Got to get this place set up a little bit here, Poppy. But
yeah, we've only been in here for a week. So by the next time you come in, there's going to be...
You bringing all those pretty girls from San Diego out here with you guys?
I'll bring them. Oh,
my God. Okay.
We'll set up plans.
Y'all working out in here. I might need to get a little workout in too. I mean, those girls love to do these. They got a booty doctor out there or something like that.
Yeah, they go to the booty doctor.
I was looking at this guy, the booty doctor. I go, this guy, maybe I should be a booty doctor. 48-year-old, if you're divorced or something like that, I want to be a booty doctor. I don't know.
That's branding at its finest, man.
Girls like booties, I guess, these days. Is it natural? You want to pay for it? Who knows what's going on with these things?
If you're a girl and you want to grow a bigger butt, do you go to Jane's Wellness Center or do you go to the booty doctor?
Damn, you should be like... I should be I guess that's what Dr. GTO is, the PLO doctor. I'm going to start calling myself the doctor or something. I don't know what I'm the doctor of. I'm going to be a doctor now. I actually, we can wrap it up, but yeah, we can wrap it up. I'll say that afterwards.
All right. Well, we're gonna be back with Joey in a couple months because Lord knows where this man is going to end up in the next few months. I know it's going to be big and I know it's going to be exciting. We'll bring it back to you here on the Embrace the Grind channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in a future episode.
Please. Thank you.
I'ma give it all I got,